this next one I would say is more for me, but Sven can chip in. Don't worry, there's one that's more for you to do next after this.
Why do you think Donkey Kong Country 3 is so underrated?
I think Donkey Kong Country 3 is only really underrated in terms of, in comparison to Donkey Kong Country 2. And I think maybe the part of it, the reason was it's a tough act to follow. I mean, there are some people who outright hate Donkey Kong Country 3, but then again, most of those people are people who outright hate the Donkey Kong Country series in general. There's no pleasing them there in that regard. But with Donkey Kong Country 3, I think it's just because, well, part of the problem is that Kiddy's a kind of divisive thing anyway. There's people who really adore Kiddy as part of the whole nostalgia factor, and some people who just look at him like, what's the point of him? What is he? He's like a toddler. Why did you have him instead of DK or anyone else? So it's kind of that, and also the fact that you kind of go from the sort of serious, oh my god, we're in enemy territory, there's pirates everywhere, it's terrifying kind of feel to the kind of jolly, tongue-in-cheek, cartoonish atmosphere of Donkey Kong Country 3. That kind of puts people off as well.
Yeah, I think you answered it best. It's being compared to its godlike predecessor, which never ends well for any game being compared to a better forebear. And yeah, it just doesn't have that same epic feeling.
I would say it can get epic. It's actually pretty creative, and like the gameplay, I would say it does have a lot of features which do make it superior to Donkey Kong Country 2. It's just the kind of overall feel kind of has an odd shift to it as well, because I think the thing is, the feel which people can either love or hate it as well, or no, just prefer different generally, is that Donkey Kong Country 2 was entirely composed by David Wise. Donkey Kong Country 3 was entirely composed by Evelyn Fisher. Now, both of them are great composers in their own right, and together they can make an awesome soundtrack, as with Donkey Kong Country. Those two work together for that. But their styles are completely different, and you can see that when comparing the two games, because it's kind of hard to describe, but David Wise kind of tends to focus on the melody. Evelyn tends to focus more on the atmosphere of the piece, so that's why a lot of her songs tend to be the creepiest.
I'd never actually noticed the creepiness difference, but now I will.
Well, here's one way to tell. If you go for the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack, any creepy song, like Voice of the Temple or the, what was the name? Northern Hemisphere, the ice one, that's the Evelyn Fisher.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting thing to notice after, 11 years of playing Donkey Kong?
Yeah. There are some exceptions, to be fair, though. Like, Evelyn was the one who also made Candy's theme, and that's not creepy in the slightest, but still.
Yeah, although to be fair, the concept behind Candy Kong, it may be creepy, but let's not get into that.
Yeah. We're getting slightly off topic, though. The whole point is that Evelyn's style is very different from David Wise, so there's that factor into it. And personally, whilst I still think Donkey Kong Country 3 is a great game, and I'm really happy for its existence, the one thing that I will say against it, and those of you who have watched the VGT know what's coming, I still can't get over the ultimate ending. That just felt like it came out of nowhere with no explanation, pretty much undermined everything you ever did, and then ended on a really, really anticlimactic note. But apart from that, it's a really excellent game.
Yeah, fun fact, I'd never actually seen that ultimate ending, so whenever I watched VGT, I was like, what?
Yeah, I remember even as a child, when I first completed for the first time, I was staring at it and thinking, is this it? Really? Which says a lot. But
yeah.
And whilst that question was more pertained to me, this one is entirely aimed at you.
Sven, why don't you make videos?
That's a very, very good question. Part of it is procrastination. I am a chronic procrastinator.
Aww.
Trust me, it is one of my biggest problems. Mainly it's because I have so many ideas, and eventually I have so many ideas to the point that my mind eventually goes, well, screw this, I'm going on strike. And that leads into the second problem, Because I have so many ideas, I cannot decide what I want to start with. Or what I want to do in general with my channel. Because if I did everything I wanted to do with my channel, it would be the biggest clusterfuck on YouTube.
Yeah, you and me both. You can probably just see from this channel there have been so many ideas I've brought up and then discarded. So.
Yeah, so that's mainly my reason. Too many ideas and procrastination because of too many ideas. Just to list a few, I've been thinking of doing character reviews for series, voice acting reviews for dubs, manga reviews per chapter. It just goes on and it gets kind of overwhelming, really.
Yeah, to be fair, I went through the exact same problem before I decided on BGT. It's, in that kind of thing, it's more of a case of deciding what you feel you know a lot about and something you feel comfortable talking about regularly, because...
Yeah, and that was actually the thing. The one thing I came closest to actually doing on my channel was the manga reviews per chapter. Then I thought in my head, the manga I'd be reviewing would be Bleach. And sometimes nothing happens in a chapter. So how am I going to commentate on nothing?
To be fair, that's always the biggest challenge for a reviewer, us taking on the average stuff that's neither really good or really bad.
Yeah, in fact, once again bringing up Yahtzee, he said that the games he hates reviewing the most are the ones that aren't bad, aren't good, just in the middle because they're not remarkable.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate problem, but yeah, that's pretty much my advice for any reviewer who wants to get stuff. Just find something you're comfortable talking about, something you can find several examples for it, and something you can have fun with, in all honesty.
Yeah, if I can think of that. Lately I've been getting better at scheduling, so I don't, utterly get my mind fried for 3 months because I have so many ideas. Keep checking my channel. I may eventually put something up that I can keep doing.
Don't worry, if you ever do, I'll plug it on this channel as well, just a bit.
Shameless plug, woo!
Yeah, at least I can do. Moving on to the next question, question 6.
If you were to create an internet meme, what would you want it to be?
I may lose some friends over this, but I have a tendency to really despise internet memes, particularly ones that are basically just clips taken out of context. Also, I think an internet meme is something you don't really get a choice in a matter of, so Sod's Law, something from VGT, if it ever gets popular, will be turned into an internet meme.
Yeah. Oh, there are so many targets in VGT for that. There are just so many jokes that I'd love to see people repeat. Like Tipsy Apple Juice.
Oh dear, I need more juice.
Oh god, God knows, if something from our channel got turned into a meme, it would be Beware the Purple Frickin' Shorts.
Oh, that one line's gonna come back to haunt you one of these days. Speaking of coming back to haunt you, guess what I'm drinking right now?
Oh boy. Apple juice, I hope, not purple shorts.
Yeah, just apple juice, don't worry. I think, is it even possible to drink purple shorts? Don't answer that.
Let's not think too hard about that one.
And finally, question 7.
Xylophones.
Yes.
Okay. All I know is that there was a burping one in Donkey Kong Country 64.
Do not remind me of that. Okay.
Yeah, that was an interesting note to end the series of questions on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, our next series of questions comes from Spyro Crash 19. Was that meant to be Spyro Crash? Sorry if I butchered your name.
Number 1. What is your most and or least favorite Pokemon game and why?
My favorite game, I would probably have to say either Pokemon Heart Gold or Pokemon Black right now.
Yeah, mine is a toss-up between Pokemon Black, Pokemon Platinum, and Pokemon Emerald. Emerald was amazing.
Fair enough. As for most hated game, I can't really think of any game I actually despised or disliked. I think the only one I had any negative feelings for briefly was Pokemon Puzzle League. That was only because it was so damn addicting back in the day that I rented it. Oh wait, actually, I tell a lie, I remember it now. Pokemon Yellow, just because it reminds me of the anime, and I cannot stand the anime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that stupid fussy Pikachu. Anyway,
Yeah, my least favorite? Okay, just as a disclaimer, don't hate me for this. I was never able to get into Fire Red or Leaf Green. I don't know why, I just never was. Doesn't make them bad, but just couldn't get into them for some reason.
fair enough.
But like I said, I didn't really hate the games. That was just my personal opinion. Game I did hate? Pokemon Snap.
Oh, that's a game that some people really love and really hate, obviously.
Yeah, I just did not see the point.
Mm.
Pokemon is about the battles and the Pokemon and the characters, especially lately, not taking pictures.
I had that game when I was younger. It was kind of fun while it lasted, but yeah, I will agree it wasn't the best thing to come out of the franchise.
Yeah, so that's our opinion on that.
Yeah.
And to lead on to the next question,
What is your favorite and most hated Pokemon and why?
we'll skip the first part because we've already said that.
Yeah.
Most hated? Jonin. Anything to add?
Zubat! 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 Freaking Zubat!
Oh, thank you so much. That saved me from yelling. That was my exact same answer.
Oh,
That
I-
and Tentacool and Magikarp.
oh god, yeah, the two Pokemon who are not really that good in battle and will always annoy you. In fact, Zubat's even more annoying because even when you try and beat them up for experience, they'll always get either Supersonic or Confuse Ray and bugger the entire thing up. Ugh!
Yeah. Oh, now they replaced it with that monstrosity Woobat.
Actually, to be honest, I was cheering when I saw Woobat because I was glad they didn't have him anymore.
And for that matter, Woobat is rarer. Zubat you'd never stop seeing. Ever. And furthermore, it buggers the whole idea of gotta catch 'em all because frankly, I do not want to catch a Zubat. Crobat may be cool, but for God's sake, it's not worth frickin' Zubat.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's enough of our piece then.
Yeah, let's move on before I start ranting. You don't want to see Spin in rant mode? You already have. It's scary.
Number 3. What do you think about the RPGs that have been announced for the 3DS, like Tales of the Abyss, Paper Mario, SMT, Devil Survivor, Overclock, etc.?
Okay, Tales of the Abyss, if it comes out over in Europe, unlike the last time, I will definitely get it. Paper Mario, I will definitely get it. Devil Survivor, I've not heard about, but probably will get if it gets good reviews.
Yep, I'm of the same mind. I'm definitely going to get Tales of the Abyss because it's Tales of... well, this is assuming I get a 3DS. I probably will. But I'm going to get Tales of the Abyss. Paper Mario... Hey, I might check it out. I haven't before, so it may be a good to get into. SMT Devil Survivor Overclocked? Never heard of it.
Number 4. What is your opinion on the RPG Chrono Cross for the PS1?
Okay, let's explain. As I've said before, Chrono Trigger is considered by me and many other people to be one of the best RPGs you can get your hands on. Chrono Cross is its sequel. And I'm trying to figure the best way to describe this. It's a divisive game, to say the least. Some people consider it a really amazing sequel. Some people consider it an absolute abomination. Which is why I want to check it out, just so I can develop an opinion for myself.
Yeah, I would give my opinion, but honestly, after hearing that, I'm kind of glad I never played it.
Pretty much every single TV trope that relates to a conflict split or anything like that, Chrono Cross covers them all pretty much.
Oh, good lord. Damn it all, now I'm curious.
Yep, now you do know how I feel. Okay.